All right, let's dive in. Today, we're doing a system reboot on the most important device you own, your mind. We've got a hard list, 10 things that are just cluttering up your mental desktop right now. And by the end of this, you're going to know exactly where that delete key is and how to use it.
Just let this sink in for a second. Right now, your future self is looking back at you, shaking their head. Why? Because they know. They know what you're still holding on to, what you haven't deleted yet. See, they've already moved on. They've already become the person you're trying so hard to be.
So what's the secret? What if they already deleted to become the person you want to be? And listen, this is really important. This isn't about sacrifice. Not at all. It's about an upgrade. Your only job, really, is to catch up to the version of you that's already out there waiting for you.
Think about it. Every single day, you're in this constant, silent negotiation for your mental bandwidth. Every notification that dings, every vague goal that's just floating around in your head, every single draining conversation, each one is like a tiny tax on your focus. And the thing is, the person you want to become, they've already won this negotiation. Today, we're going to steal their playbook.
Okay, so this brings us to the core idea here, the really high cost of all that mental clutter. I want you to think of your brain like a computer. And to get it running at its absolute peak, we have to upgrade the OS, the operating system. So there's a technical term for this, and it's called cognitive load. All it means is the total amount of mental effort you're using in your working memory at any given time. And every single worry, every distraction, every task you haven't finished, well, it's like a background app running on your computer. And you know what happens when you have too many apps open, right? The whole system just slows down. And this really brings it to life. On the left, you've got your brain right now. It's a CPU with like 20 background apps running. It's slow, it's prone to crashing, and it's draining your energy on all these tiny little micro decisions. But then look at the right. That's your future self's brain. It's a clean OS. All that RAM, all that processing power is dedicated to the task at hand. It's fast, it's effective, it's powerful.
So let's just hammer this point home because it's so important. This is not about sacrifice. It's not about giving things up. It's about catching up to who you're meant to become. It's about clearing the cache, wiping the old hard drive, and installing that shiny new OS, the one your future self is already running right now. You're just catching up to their code.
All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty, the first 5 deletions. I call these the cognitive killers, and for good reason. They're silently, constantly draining your mental RAM, even when you don't realize it's happening.
Okay, let's run through them. First up, the someday folder. You know what this is. All those vague goals you've filed away for later, they just create this constant low-level hum of anxiety. Then, we've got optional people. These are the relationships that just consistently take more energy than they give back. Next, the research spiral. Oh man, this is a big one. You get so trapped in planning and researching that you never actually start the thing. Number 4, the identity crutch. This is when you lean on those negative stories you tell yourself like, oh, I'm just a procrastinator. And finally, digital graveyards. All those apps and social media feeds you scroll through out of habit with zero joy or purpose. Every single one of them is a tax on your attention.
I want to double click on that identity crutch for a second because it's huge. These labels we give ourselves. I'm a procrastinator. I'm bad with money. I'm not a morning person. They feel like facts, right? Like they're just part of who we are. But they're not. They are stories. Stories that you are choosing to run on a loop. And your future self, they didn't just edit the story. They dragged that file right into the trash and hit empty. They just wrote a better story.
Okay, on to the next 5. If those first 5 were the cognitive killers that drain your bandwidth, think of these next 5 as the execution assassins. They're the things that silently sabotage your ability to actually do the work.
So here's the hit list for part 2. First, the comfort ritual. That's that easy, familiar thing you do to avoid the one hard thing you know you should be doing. Next, permission seeking. This is waiting for some external sign or for someone else to tell you it's okay before you make a move. Then, we've got multitasking as a badge. Wearing being busy like it's a sign of success when really it's just a sign of a divided mind. Fourth is the fairness argument. This is just wasting precious energy arguing with reality, getting mad about things you simply cannot change. And finally, the past script. Hitting replay on old failures, old arguments, old regrets. It keeps you completely stuck.
And you have to see the bigger picture here. Individually, yeah, these 10 things look like just bad habits, but they're not. Together, they are the source code for your current operating system. They define your reality. And that's why your future self didn't just patch a few bugs here and there. No way. They did a complete system reinstall from the ground up. Okay, so a list of 10 things. I get it. That can feel overwhelming. Like, where do you even start? So how do we actually apply this? Well, we're going to turn all this theory into a super simple, totally practical 7-day challenge. This is your system reboot. And it's incredibly simple. Seriously, here's the whole plan. Step 1, just pick one. That's it, just one thing from that list of 10. Let's say it's that research spiral. Okay. Step 2, for the next 7 days, your only priority is to focus on negotiating with that one thing. Every time you feel that urge to just keep planning and never start, you consciously stop yourself. Step 3, you got to track it. Just notice the mental space, the time, the focus you get back. And finally, step 4, just observe. See what happens. You're going to find that deleting that one thing suddenly makes it way easier to tackle the others.
So, what's the payoff for this little 7-day reboot? What do you get? You win back the single most valuable currency you have, your focus. You win it back, one small deletion at a time. And here's the really cool part. This isn't just an additive effect, where 1 + 1 = 2. No, it's multiplicative. It's like a chain reaction. When you stop seeking permission, you suddenly have the confidence to break out of your comfort ritual. When you finally clear out that dusty someday folder, you suddenly have the clarity to stop trying to multitask. Each deletion you make frees up the mental CPU power you need to go after the next one. Which brings us right back to where we started, to the ultimate goal. Look, your future self didn't just wake up one day and magically get more disciplined. No, they got ruthless. Ruthless about what and who got access to their attention. They became the ultimate gatekeeper for their own mind, because they understood that focus, that's the raw material for building the life you actually want.
So that leaves us with just one question. Right now, look at that list in your mind. For the next 7 days, what's the one background app you're finally going to close? What is the first thing you will delete to start catching up to the person you are already becoming?